Ndị be anyị ekenekwanụ m unu. Anyị sị ka nkonye chiri ya zalụkwa. Anyị si ndụ mmiri ndụ azụ. Mmiri atara m azụ anwụna. Anyị dịka o si dị ya bụ Eastern News 24 ka anyị si were wetara ya bụ ozi. Unu je gị ugbu a n'iru akwụkwọ gbasịta maka ya bụ ifu na anụ na-eme n'obodo nọ n'ime ya anụ nwere onwe ndị Igbo na-azọ. Anyị n'ụbọchị nke taata nwa nwanne anyị nwoke wetara ya ozi, one of the Biafran activists, and he quote, "Breaking news. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu full discharge and acquittal expected on 18th court trial as no case submission holds." Hear the news in details. All right, update ajimakia bebani ro akwonu boso wuru chinketa na Eastern News 24 bo basta makia bi one of the Biafran activists wetela yumunnem. So ya masem ka etonti na ge ya bo update o wetele ndi Igbo. So dikuni ye ge ya bi ife liat kwan no din kunu basta makia nda ni no kugasi ni ro akwukwo. All right, over to you, sir.
Of course, which will be on the 18th of July. That day promised to be fireworks because I believe that day is a day of destiny. It's not easy to be held for years in a particular cell and an enclosed environment, nobody to talk to. Every day you're on your own. This man has really suffered and actually deserves his freedom. Over the weeks, there's been talk of negotiations here and there, and I thank God that the family has come out to put an end to that discussion. So what we are talking about now is the outright unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This is right because he has defeated the federal government on 6 courts already, 2 of which has granted him damages for the losses he suffered. 1 happened in Kenya and 1, of course, is in Nigeria. And definitely, we don't expect this 18th of July to be any different. The defense has closed their case, of course, against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Therefore, there is no further argument again to come up to tell the court or tell Nigerians. The case is closed, is closed. What is left for the court or for the judge to do is to give a sound judgment according to the arguments they have brought up. And of course, there were 7 count charges that they brought up, alleging of terrorism charges, of which you know the treason has already been dropped before. And they tried their best in the court case to prove that Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist. They took their turns by turn, witness after witness. Witness AAA, witness BBB, witness CCC. Who even knows if it's not even the same person, just changing mask and changing clothes and changing name, answering the same masked witness. But be that as it may, the witness has done all he can to prove that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is who he say he is. But having followed this case since Omotosho started it, I can tell you authoritatively that the masked witness did nothing but waste the time of the court, waste the time of the defense, and ended up disgracing himself in court. Like I said, the federal government has no case against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It's just a hoax. It's just a time waster. Many of the charges don't even look like people who are serious to nail someone on terrorism, because I keep on saying somebody who is a terrorist must possess certain qualities to be called a terrorist. Like Osama bin Laden, like Abu Shekau, like many terrorist groups out there. They are modus operandi of terrorism that must be proved, because definitely terrorism has a definition. So I'm asking myself, how does Nnamdi Kanu tick all the boxes of a terrorist? How? You have 7 count charges of terrorism. Not one of these charges talks about a bomb or a weapon of mass destruction or submachine guns or a knife or terrorist group that kidnap, that abduct, snatch, hijack, assassinate. There has been no link to Nnamdi Kanu on any of these grievous offenses that terrorists commit. So how is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu being charged for 7 count charges of terrorism when not one of the charges points to him as a terrorist? That leaves so much to be desired, because heading down to the 18th of July, I only demand one thing of Justice James Omotosho. Your Lordship, I want you to look at this matter as a personal grievance that Buhari caused by himself and wanted to drag the name of Nigeria into the matter. Because Buhari had a personal grievance with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is all. Nnamdi Kanu committed no offense against Nigeria. Perhaps if he had told Buhari, you are stupid, or you are mad, or you are crazy, or maybe you are not the Buhari that I know, maybe Buhari you are dead, or maybe you are not Buhari, you are Jibril. Or he said that the Fulani people are causing this harm or that harm in his place and he doesn't like it. If this is what he said that annoyed Buhari and maybe the Fulani people, does it mean that he is a terrorist? Will you now use state resources and state money to finance this kind of trial? Do you know what Buhari spent, how much he spent to abduct Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya? And also, the international bodies have agreed that what happened in Kenya is an act of terrorism, is a crime against a human being. It was a kidnap, an extraordinary rendition. And actually, no court should, in its moral rights, moral grounds, should try somebody who is a victim of kidnap. The real person that should be facing trial right now are the people that committed the act of kidnap itself, which is Buhari and Malami and all those people who took part in this international rendition. So be that as it may, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not even scared of any court trial. He has been facing this court trial since many years, more than 10 years now, and he was granted bail the first time. And before he could even appear for his court case, the Python Dan stormed to his house to kill him. Ended up killing 28 people there and unaliving his father and his mother. If they had gotten hold of Nnamdi Kanu, they would have killed him also. And that was why he had to run for his life. Nnamdi Kanu went for asylum. He was a victim of state violence, a victim of assassination attempt. And that was why he left the country. Now, you kidnapped him and brought him back, and he faced trial under Binta Nyako. And Binta Nyako was requested to grant Nnamdi Kanu bail, of which she refused, citing that he jumped bail. Imagine a high court judge, a highly placed judge like Binta Nyako, cannot differentiate. Imagine a judge that closes her eye to injustice because of tribalism. And I always point out, doesn't she read the news? Doesn't she follow newspaper to know what happened in Abia State, Nnamdi Kanu's home? How will she not have granted Nnamdi Kanu bail since all those times they requested for the bail? Why did she insist that Nnamdi Kanu jumped bail? Jumped bail how? And that's why she sat on that case for 10 years doing nothing. Please, I want to ask, which court in the world, even in the worst country, keeps trying a case for 10 years without calling witnesses, without granting bail, without even sentencing the person, without even putting the person in prison and letting him be coming to the court from the prison? The person is still in the dungeon from kidnap. That is very wicked. Wicked act, and it shows clearly that there was a big bias in the case. But we've gone ahead from that now, and we are now in Justice James Omotosho, a man that actually said something and is doing exactly what he said. Omotosho said that he's going to proceed on an accelerated trial because, according to his words, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has spent so much time in the dungeon and he does not want that again. And he knows very well that there's no need sending him to the prison or granting him bail because he knows that in a month or two he will end this whole case. And that is exactly what Omotosho has done. And I must applaud Justice James Omotosho for this bold act under pressure, because definitely I know that the Fulani people definitely will be pressurizing him from all fronts to make sure that they sentence him or deal with him mercilessly. But why didn't they succeed in doing it under their own judge, who was Justice Binta Nyako? Why didn't they succeed? Perhaps that was their best shot at ending Kanu's life or at sentencing him to prison, was Justice Binta Nyako. But they failed because Justice Binta Nyako didn't have the balls. Yeah, I say it. She did not get balls to do it. She know the fear, as in you just sentence him to prison without trial. She was very, 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 she just excused herself. She just had to leave that case because she could not do otherwise. 18th is here. The time has come to show that James Omotosho, you are the man that people say you are. There are 7 count charges. And of course, the witnesses have been given enough time to prove that those 7 count charges, Nnamdi Kanu did all of them. But the defense is saying that the accusations don't even hold water. There is no even evidence for us to defend here. That's why we are saying no case submission. Please, Oga, end this case. End this case now, because we have nothing to even defend. And I believe that those men there are SANs. Now the Kanu's lawyers are SAN, senior advocates. They know when a case is worth defending or not. They have been there before thousands of times. And I'm sure, Omotosho, you know those are well-respected senior lawyers telling you that there is nothing to defend here. It will be somehow of you to turn them down, saying that they should come and defend something, or they should come and talk about something. Because it's so obvious that these men are grounded lawyers. Perhaps if there was something to defend in those accusations, the lawyers would tell Nnamdi Kanu, see, there is this particular one or two that we saw, and if we apply for this no case submission, makes no sense because definitely this is so obvious. There is a prima facie case. Let us defend it. At least we have evidence to back up, to defend what he said against you, because what he said against you holds water. But these new lawyers have checked everything and have seen there is nothing to defend. So I'm going to show your best bets is to please listen to these senior lawyers of Kanu Agabi, Paul Erokoro, and all 6 Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers who are well seasoned, tested, senior advocates with international pedigree. You even have one who has been the former Attorney General of Nigeria telling you that there is no case to answer. Strike this case off. Omotosho, with all due respect, I know you are a chief judge. But at least some of these sons are even more elderly than you. Please, listen to them. There is no case to answer in Nnamdi Kanu. Strike off this case immediately. Let Nnamdi Kanu go home. This trial has overstayed. This man has spent his quality years in the cell, in the dungeon. This man is an asset to this generation. This man is this man is an asset to this generation. Simple. His fight for Biafra and Ndi Igbo stemmed out of years of injustice of Ndi Igbo. Everybody knows it, that there is something wrong with the Nigerian system. Can't you see it? Even as a judge, you're from Yoruba, you can see what is happening in Yoruba land. You can see what is happening in Ogun State, in Ondo State. You can see that even Sunday Igboho at a point had to come out and start defending his region. There is a systematic attack on the southern part of Nigeria. There is an attack in our villages, in our lands, in our farms by foreign mercenaries, foreign terrorists, and Fulani Janjaweeds who are looking for a new home and want to dislodge the indigenes of the south. And of course, if you do not wake up to this information, then you will perish with it. Because Nnamdi Kanu has succeeded in opening the eyes of Ndi Igbo, and definitely there is no Igbo man alive today that will claim ignorance of what is going on in the country. This fight is not against anybody, but is for self-preservation and the preservation and conservation of the Igbo race. Our people have been killed in Ehamufu, they have been killed in different parts of the southeast, and yet nobody is doing anything about it. Is the value of human life not worth anything? I think what is happening is simple. The Fulanis claim to be the first class, And they claim to have rights to anybody's land. Wherever they are, they think they own the land. They do not believe that people own lands. They believe that anywhere they enter belongs to them, is a gift given to them by their forefathers or by whoever it is that give it to them. But this is 2025 and things are different. If you want our land, come and take it. If you want the land, come and take it if you can. Simple. That is why every community must be ready to defend itself against any foreign invasion. Because obviously, the Nigerian government is not prepared to protect anybody. Either they're not prepared, or they don't even have the capacity, or they even collude and don't even care. This is me saying again, Justice James Omotosho, the injustice is too much. Please release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on the 18th of July. Discharge and acquit him unconditionally. Let your name be written in gold and let your records as a chief judge be clean, spot, whiter than white, just like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu always says, and you will always be remembered throughout this life as the man who set Nnamdi Kanu free. Your name will be written in the sands of time, and you definitely may have a street or a whole town named after you when that day comes. Omotosho, this is our plea. To all my supporters around the world watching me from all the corners of the universe, I really appreciate all of you. I am here as usual. Let us keep saying a prayer for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the general leader of the Igbos in this world, a man who came to this world to save his people, a man who is anointed to lead his people to the promised land, and a man who will never lie or sell his people out for akara and bread. Kindly like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Turn on notifications by clicking on that bell and select the one that says all to get notified whenever I will drop a video.
Ndị ba ngwadalo li nenu dukun si wee ge ya bụ ife wetelu n'ụbọchị uruchi nke taa. Anyị ga-alapụ n'ukwu nri ya tia gbasịta maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile ụmụnna wetela anyị. Gwa ifu nche n'udo nke unu. Ngwanụ ka emesịa na ụmụnne m.